Hello and welcome to Thrive TV. I am your host, Natasha Brown. Welcome to Say It As It Is show. On today's episode, we'll be talking about a topic that seems to be a recent trend. You know, you having a best friend, you being married and all of that. We're going to talk about all of that and more with my lovely co-anchors. Don't go anywhere and we'll be right back. All right, so getting right into it, Say It As It Is show. All the episodes have been so amazing. What's your take so far, Favor?
I agree.
Ooh,
absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
How about you, Abule?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed myself and talking about most of these very delicate matters.
Right, Mr. George, you're new on here, so I'll just introduce you shortly. Okay, so we're getting right into the show. I have with me my lovely co-anchors, as always. Very astute individuals in their own rights. You already are aware of Mr. William Sabule. He's a prominent face here, and also Favor Jeremiah. Thank you so much. But we have a new face on here, Mr. George. I will still say your surname, Ogwebo.
I said you're gonna spoil that.
He's a salesman, and I can't wait to hear your takes on this particular topic today. So let's just get right into it. Topic of the day, the idea of besties and committed relationships or marriage. So definitely we know, so you're married, George, you're married, Abula, you're married.
Yeah.
We know that there's this thing where your spouse has a best friend of the opposite sex. That's all we're talking about. We're not necessarily saying your wife has a best friend that is a girl. I mean, it could also flip the other way where there's some other kind of friendship on there. But the part where your wife has a male friend that is her best friend, and you knew of this while both of you were dating. Now you guys are married. He's still her best friend. What's your take on that? First of all, would you endorse a thing like that for your wife to have a best friend
Okay.
of the opposite sex?
Yeah, for me, I think I'm one guy that has always believed in, should I call it best friend, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Let's go.
because due to recent trends, I can somehow be against it because of the trends. Yeah, social media trend and all the things happening in social media right now. But me growing up, I used to have a best friend, even
A female.
A female, yeah. Most of my best friends
I
are
feel-
female. Yes. Because they are always the ones you can confide in. They are not in competition with you.
Wow.
That's the truth. A female friend can never be in competition with you. And depending on what you guys, if it is a genuine relationship, genuine friendship. This girl, even funny enough, she was the one that called me now.
Oh, right.
She was the one that called
Your
me.
best
now. She's-
friend?
Yes, she stays in America.
This is interesting.
You understand? So, and presently my wife knows about her. Yes. We do video call. She's married as well.
Okay.
So,
And
now,
her husband knows you.
yes, the husband knows me very. In fact, the husband and I, we chat on WhatsApp.
Okay.
Do you understand? So, like I said, it is not a bad thing. Just that the genuinity of who is involved matters a lot. Do you understand? Yeah. So from my best friend, I got to know the family. The family got to know my family, you know. And funny enough, they were only girls in their house. So I visit them, I sleep over there. They visit me, they sleep. You know, that's how our best friend
I
thing
love that.
went.
Such a dynamic angle to come
understand?
from a man. I am shocked. I am surprised.
Yeah, we are very open to it. We don't. I don't have any other strings attached. Do you
Right.
understand? Yes, but currently now you find out that what people call best friend is not best friend. I think
Friends with
during
benefits.
our time,
Best friends with
you know,
benefits.
time has really evolved. That during our time, it used to be harmless thing.
Yeah.
But currently, you find out a lot of things are happening, especially in our secondary schools, universities, and you see a lot of things trending. You see best friend doing shit with, you know, all kind of things with. So for me, okay, back to your question as well. For me, if before dating your wife or before dating your spouse, you should know things about your wife. Didn't just you can't just all of a sudden stop every relationship your spouse
Is involved in.
Right? So for me, I think you should find out it doesn't hide. That's the truth. When you're having an affair with the opposite sex,
Yeah.
no matter how you do it, the genuinity is there. You will know. If, for example, your wife's bestie is having a sexual
Relationship with your wife.
you will know. Genuinely, you will know.
Dicey!
Sounds like
No.
Dicey,
See,
man!
Let me tell you.
Dicey.
See, let me tell you one thing. No matter how it is, human beings are created in God's image, and one of God's image is jealousy. That jealousy, no, unless you as a guy or as a woman, you are insensitive.
Yeah, okay.
But if you are very sensitive, you will know.
You would
Sure.
notice.
You will know.
Okay,
I just don't know. Probably because of I've been in it.
That's arguable, but I'll get right back into that. Abule.
Oh well, I disagree. I think I don't want any besties for my wife. I don't have anyone, and I don't want to get into that kind of mix because I'm of the opinion that most times men will be men, and then women, on the other hand, are a bit more committed to friendship than men. And just because I'm a man and I feel that, I've had best friends that are female while I was single, but in marriage is a bit more complicated. So you find out that in marriage there are some times that it's not like anything happened, but somehow it's not like you want to be detached from your wife, but there are probably pressures of work, everything. There's that gap, communication gap. Then, peradventure, another man somewhere is filling in that gap for you in the name of bestie, where she has some things to talk about while she's talking to you, you've slept off. She picks up her phone, calls bestie. Bestie is available. Bestie is always listening, taking then comforting her. That's a very risky thing to do. But like I said, women are a bit more committed. But if we flip the table and that was a guy, we don't know that kind of risk. Is
Right.
what-
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just as comfortable for marriage. I just feel that there shouldn't be. If there's a bestie, we should all be friends with the bestie. You cannot
It's
talk
a
to
whole family bestie.
You should not be talking to bestie
Right.
when I'm not there. If I should be making phone calls to bestie, as he talks 5 minutes, I talk 10. We should be doing like that every time. But when I find out that there's a communication that I'm not involved, I'll really feel uncomfortable.
Do you think the reason that you get uncomfortable with that kind of relationship dynamic is lack of trust for your spouse? Because it almost boils down to lack of trust. Like if you're not able to let your wife alone, to just have that separate
Privacy space,
friendship,
yeah.
privacy
Right.
with, yes,
Okay.
doesn't it boil down to lack of trust?
Well, I don't look at it that I see it like helping my spouse not to fall for, because when you say lack of trust, it's not everybody that cheated that wanted to cheat. Circumstances can just lead
Compromising
you to.
situations.
It's just as if let me use the general analogy that most people will use. You take a yam and go and put it in a goat's house, and then you kept it there. Say goat will one day change to a human being, so he will not like yam, or he will choose when to eat yam. And then the goat every day, did they hungry catch goat will eat yam? So
But a well-trained goat would eat
Are
the
they
yam.
well
For
trained
me,
goats?
if I should come in there,
Yeah.
like, okay, from your perspective, now, your wife has a bestie or has had a bestie right from time.
Okay, that, yeah.
Now, they've never had a thing. Maybe throughout their secondary days, university, they've never had a thing. Each other knows their maybe boyfriend. I know your wife knows this person's boyfriend. This person knows this person. You understand? Even the person knows you. You
Yeah,
know him.
sure.
You understand? While you guys are cutting, you already know. Especially when you are winning your wife,
Yeah.
you already know that this guy is that's one guy. See, I don't know how to explain it,
Yeah.
but is that one guy you know? Okay,
I would like
using
to
my-
ask you.
using myself as an example, during those days, my best friends, my bestie's friend, whenever they want to go to club, they bring me along. I go to club. I have my girlfriend back then. My girlfriend will follow us, all of us. The guy owns a hotel, so he will lodge us in his hotel. We all feel cool, right? Now, as time goes by, in terms of marriage, yes, we know you guys are married, and relationship there, the relationship now is not like every day, hey, but where are you?
Okay.
It's not like the university,
Yeah.
you guys are drinking, you guys are eating, where are you? And they come to your house now, you lie down. So relationship there is not that way anymore, but he or she is still that person you can talk to, catch up with.
So I was going to ask you a question, Favor, before you come in. I was going to ask you a question. Would you say the reason that you're very comfortable with that kind of relationship dynamic is because you trust yourself and then you trust your spouse? Would you say that's why you're comfortable with that kind of dynamic?
Why I would say I because I have been in such situation now, and I don't have anything in mind. As in I don't even to tell you
sinister.
to make you understand better. Probably it doesn't go for everyone. I agree. I agree. Now, but what I'm trying to say is, even to the extent of knowing their family, they are 5 girls.
For your best friend?
Yes.
Okay.
And funny enough, all of them became my best friends.
5 girls?
5 girls.
So now your wife is dealing with 5
No,
girls.
what I'm saying,
Let me know what's going on.
All of them are, everybody is far.
Right.
Most of them are in the UK, some are in the United States, right? But we are still friends. We talk on phone.
That relationship.
Do you understand? But what I'm trying to say is, even at that, I didn't go ahead to, let me date someone. Even when I was at that moment of trying to looking for a wife, I still saw them as mine.
So I'll come back into that, but let me get into Favor. Favor, you want to say something?
I think that there are a lot of factors that come to play where this subject is concerned. Like he rightly said, like George rightly said, what is the genuinity of the relationship?
Right.
Now, for the scenario Abule painted, he said that he doesn't want a situation where his wife is having a communication separate from what he's going to be involved in. Okay, so paint this other kind of picture. A situation where your partner's bestie is unmarried. The person becomes a lot more available for your partner, which is why the risks are a lot higher in such a scenario. Right. So I think there are a lot of factors that come to play. George's case is different because everything is open. They know themselves. They are both married, so the risks are that kind of.
The sisters are not married. So
how can you have 5 best friends at the same time?
I don't feel that way.
No, understand what I mean. Now we became from her. All of us we became family.
So it's a family of that.
Yes,
you understand? Okay, they cook, I eat, they
right.
Talk to
So
you guys have gone beyond friendship. That's not
it's
family.
not family, but at the end of the day, like it's a beautiful thing to see that kind of dynamic because for me also, I have a best friend. He's married, and before he got married, we had been really very close. Friendship where we say I love you to each other and all of that. Really amazing, very fantastic guy. So I was in Lagos sometime back. He's based in Lagos, and I was going to stay at his apartment. I'd never seen the girlfriend. She'd never seen me so. She sees me with my blonde hair and everything. So she's like, okay, this is the best friend. Okay. So I stayed in his house. His house is like a 2-bed. So I stayed in the other room. He was in the other room. She was not in the house with us. So she was okay with it. But once she went back home and told her friends, so the friend, her own friends would typically ask her, so, where's your boyfriend and all that? Oh, yeah, his bestie even came around. And this bestie is in his house. Like, what are you doing in your flat? So it got into her head. Initially, she wasn't thinking that because she had already believed all her boyfriend told her. So it got into her head. So they had a heated argument in the car. So I later got to ask him, is she okay with it, this whole arrangement thing? He was like, it was causing a lot of trouble, but he has explained to her.
I really don't blame her.
But wait, so I don't blame her, but then for me, I know that as a bestie, I had the responsibility now to prove to you that there is no shenanigans around here. So I respected myself in the fact that definitely just because I'm a bestie does not mean I should wear lingerie in your house. No!
There should be boundaries.
Boundaries.
Yeah, okay.
So I think those are the angles that can help
Exactly.
mitigate around this whole thing, because we have avenues where you have some bestie, and because you're my bestie, like I'll fling my
Yeah.
body on you,
Yeah.
hug you in different types of
Exactly.
way.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I think that's the angle where a lot of people frown on this thing, like frown about this whole relationship
Because
dynamic.
people
So,
don't know where to draw the line.
good. So it brings me to that question. Should there be boundaries as well in order to protect the sanity of your spouse
and
or your
for
partner?
me, I think in addition to this is at what age? I think there should be
right.
at what age did this bestie thing
Start.
started? At this our age, you can't just have some like
Suddenly.
currently now
You
me
just have a
having
bestie.
maybe
The relationship
meeting
would
you,
have
you
lasted
start
for
be-
years.
Do you understand? This from childhood,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
So we are besties, as in, we are besties.
That
But
could be
at this
genuine, yeah.
age, maybe meeting someone new
That's still dicey.
and meeting someone new, trying to be bestie with that person at this age, that would be totally.
So you're saying
wrong.
it's age-centric?
Yes.
Having a bestie is
What-
age-centric.
like that-
So you can't have a bestie as an adult
It's
now?
completely different.
Why I said so as a married, you are talking about a married guy, right?
Married in a
Now
serious
you have
relationship.
you have a friend. See, there is this bestie thing. You have a friend, and you have a best. The bestie thing is just that person that always is
See the
just.
way
that
he's
shows up
smiling.
for
you guys are talking.
Shout out to
You
your
understand?
bestie.
You understand? You guys are talking. You guys are cool. You guys are. There's nothing in your mind.
I still disagree to an extent, relatively, because
With George?
Yes, because I mean, these things, there are levels to it. So you have a friend. He says he's age-centric. So you have a friend who you've been friends with. You guys have been best
From
friends
secondary
from secondary
school.
school. You have scenarios and cases where the best friend tells you, I've always loved you. I've always loved you since childhood. I've
that's
always had this
another one.
feeling for you since childhood. And then we grow up, and then you leave me, and then you go for somebody else. These are the dynamics, the different factors we're talking
But
about.
I think
Let's play out
but
like that.
isn't it the fact that like when you find, maybe if you eventually you find out your bestie is in love with you, you kind of have to cut it off now, right?
That's what we're saying.
well,
So
it
you have to
depends.
work around saying it that
I
it's
was going to ask
from back
George.
in the day.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah,
it makes it genuine.
George's case is that he is the one with the bestie.
Yeah.
So if the table was
Flipped.
flipped, and your wife was the one that has this bestie that you
Or
met,
besties in this case.
Please add it that the bestie has former brothers.
Yeah, just like I said.
Yeah.
Like I said before coming into my wife's life,
Yeah.
my wife has a life,
Okay.
right? Definitely, if there's anything I want to withdraw or drag her away from, one thing about life is you can't stop a woman.
Okay.
You can. The only thing I think she would do is to hide it from you. If she has any negative thing to do
Okay.
with the person, she will hide it from you. She will stop taking the person's call. She will hide it from you. But whatsoever that will be happening.
Sure.
Do you understand? So in order not to kill myself with that, I know you. Okay, just like my friend's husband,
Yeah.
he knows I'm very close to
His
Gigi,
wife.
right? And he's even, you know the truth, when the guy came back from the US, the guy got me some clothes. I don't know if you understand.
That is so beautiful.
But the truth is, you just like I said, you will see the genuity.
That's
In
one
the
in, that's
relationship.
one in
So,
one in
but
10.
but
You
but
see,
it brings us
Yes, that's one in
it
10.
brings us to the same question: should there be boundaries
Of course.
in order to
Sure.
protect the sanity of your spouse? How too extreme is being a bestie in a committed relationship or in a marriage? What are the parameters that we should set? Bestie, you cannot go further than this. Bestie, this is where you end.
Even for
Definitely,
even for
in
regular
everything, just
friendships.
like probably there's no way I can come in between my best friend and the husband.
Your husband.
Do you understand? So there are things, even in terms of advising, you understand,
Yeah.
you advise her properly. You try to let her know, oh, okay, see, here, you will be that guy to tell her you didn't do well, and she won't feel offended. I don't know if you understand.
Right.
She won't feel offended. You like, "Oh, you didn't do well for this one, try.
Well, for boundaries, I think that boundaries are necessary at almost every point, because even for regular friendships, female, male, you find out that when these people finally get to settle down with their partners or their spouse, the relationship sometimes is not as close and
Chummy
intimate
is-
as it used to be. I have friends who were every day we talk. We're always in each other's company. But when they became married, that responsibility of marriage and the reality of it, somehow it began to pull them away. We're still friends. I don't hold it against them because I understand that they have to be there for their family and all
Very
of that.
true.
But then there's this little bit of space that has come as a result of the marriage. So
Definitely.
then I think it should also come to play where this bestie thing is concerned.
Definitely, just as we've been talking about boundaries, if we endorse it, there are cases in point where there are extreme bestie relationships. What do I mean by this is, so you know that this man is dating someone or has a fiance, or this man is married, or this woman is married, but I pick up the phone to call you at 11 p.m.
Yeah.
I pick up the phone to call you at 1 a.m. I come at you, you're with your husband, or maybe I come to a gathering with the husband, and I come at you and I hug you in such a sensual way, and I give you the fattest kiss, close to your lip. There's extreme bestie. No. They are honestly best friends. Nothing is going on, but there's that closeness where, I'm out of town as the girlfriend or something. The bestie comes in to visit my boyfriend, and then maybe I come in unwarrantedly, or I didn't, boss him. I come in, bestie just came out of the bathroom with a towel, and she's dripping, and I'm like, oh, how are you? She's like, she's really okay with it, and she's like, oh, I just had a shower. Okay, I'll be with you guys shortly. Bestie.
That literally rings a bell. It's alarming.
See, you're still talking about.
See, let me tell you. No.
Let
Let me tell you. Let me tell you. The truth is, for a sensible bestie,
Sensible.
for a sensible
the
bestie, you guys might have been doing that before
He got
or she
involved,
or
got
she,
married.
yeah.
Now, for a sensible person, you care about your bestie. So
Yeah.
what you still do is, you don't try to get the spouse jealous.
That's where boundaries
Do you
come in
understand?
now.
So I believe
Wow.
that there should be a boundary around.
Thank you so much. I know there's a lot we have to say about this, but please don't go anywhere. This is getting really heated, and we'll be right back after the short break. Hello, and welcome to another amazing episode of Fab Exclusive. I remain your host, Natasha Brown.
And until we change the narrative with what we are introducing, a lot of us are going to continue to stay part of a movement.
So, talking about drums, we have the conga, we have other drums that are just portable, that can be movable.
Her purpose, she needs to find her purpose in life. Because if you don't find your purpose, you'll never really be satisfied in marriage.
I started impacting in the lives of my people way before my venture into politics.
Expensive drinks, you have to invite good customers, rich people, in fact.
Not for the poor.
Mr. Yibo Coco.
This is Tab Exclusive. You know you want to stay tuned to Tab TV if you want more of such amazing discussions coming up right on your screens. Welcome back. So we've come to the next segment of the show in other news now on Twitter. There was a story that really trended. It was about this lady. She's involved with this guy. They're in a relationship, fiance, and she has a bestie. So this particular night, she tells her fiance, I'm going out. I'm going to spend the weekend with my bestie. He's around. So he knows this bestie. They have that understanding. She has a bestie. So he's like, okay, so you want to spend the weekend with him? She's like, yes. He's like, okay, no problem. He goes to the bestie's house. He drops her off and leaves. So while she's at the bestie's house, she's just calling on him to check up on call him to check up on him. So she calls her fiance and she's like, oh, okay, how are you? What's going on? And she hears a female giggle in the background. And she goes, who is that in the background? He's like, oh, it's my bestie. As you went on the weekend getaway with your bestie, I just felt bored. And my bestie was like, oh, she can come through. So my bestie is here as well. He said in the next 1 hour. He had a knock on the door and he opened and she said she was back. She's not doing weekend getaway. So the question came up, what changed? You already knew I had a bestie. You had a bestie. You were comfortable with making me understand that you were going to spend time with your bestie for the weekend. Now I have my bestie around. What's the problem?
I think he just.
Okay, for me, I think maybe one of them is lying. You know, the truth is, most people we call bestie are not besties. Some are just our sexual partners that we are having an affair with them, but, you know, they know. You know, there are this kind of relationship whereby the girl introduces you to anybody that she meets, and you are still having an affair with
the person
guy,
involved, yeah.
but everybody is just on
a low.
on a low.
More like the true
We have
guys,
that, especially when that guy is the financier. Maybe the guy provides money, the guy is so you come. Once the money comes, the babe
my
caught you
uncle.
some.
Uncle.
The babe
No,
caught you
no,
some.
this
You know
is
what's
bestie,
going
this
on.
is bestie
Those
now.
ones are not besties.
Yeah.
You understand? So it's good we distinguish between these two, and also, like I said, the sincerity, the genuinity matters. If genuinely, but in marriage, yes, I understand all these things. Somehow, you know, in marriage, like you said, boundaries should be created. You shouldn't make your partner
Begin to feel uncomfortable.
feel uncomfortable because you have a bestie. You understand? Because at every point in time, your partner or your spouse should come first. That's the respect you owe your partner. So the only time your partner will start having a problem with your bestie, for me, I think, is when you start giving priority to bestie to your partner. But once that genuinity is seen, she knows, I did with my
That's it. Williams.
Yeah, I agree with George, but at the same time, there's a lot of discomfort in having a third party as friend. I say that every time because that's how I feel. So I look at it like I'm a talkative. I like to gist with my wife or my partner, even as a single person. So I like that attention. Just imagine me being in a relationship and then there's this other person. I'm in the room. My wife is on the phone for over 30 minutes talking to one guy and laughing and playing. And I'm like, who is that? They say, Jide. It's Jide again. Why didn't you wake me up if you needed to talk now? No, you're boring. Jide really brings out the fire whenever I want to give this kind of
gossip juice.
And meanwhile, maybe there has been boundaries. Maybe she really respects me. Truly, I can see it in her eyes that she respects and loves me. But those kind of things will really make me feel uncomfortable. So even though there could be besties, it's working very well for the scenario that George gave us because these besties now in marriage for him are now far away. They are not in Port Harcourt. If they were closer, where every now and then, probably you're running late home, and Madame calls and you say, "Oh, I'm hanging out with Chineye somewhere." Oh, that thing will
not resonate well in your head.
Even if she knows Chineye. Okay, so why Chineye knows with her husband today now? We just decided to hook up. It's been a while since we saw each other.
Use the word hangout. Hook up is a bit
hangout is it is the same signal that we send to the brain. It will be
so it brings me to that argument based on the story we heard now.
Yeah.
Is it that men are more open to having their women having besties, but women seem to not be excited about that fact?
I don't think it's every man though.
You know, see, the truth is, they say a headquarter doesn't allow cutlass to go behind him. So that's why most people are scared when it comes to this. If you value your marriage, I want to believe, for me, just that in recent times, though this might be a topic for another day, in recent times, that's where I started seeing ladies that cheat, married women that cheat. Yeah. Okay. I'm that guy that
with their besties?
No, not just generally. I'm still that guy that believes married women don't cheat. I'm that guy. I just don't know why.
I love your thought process.
We
should be besties.
So I don't make it true though.
It doesn't make it true, but that is growing up. Yeah. That is my belief.
Right.
So I believe married women don't cheat. Yeah. Apart from recent times, I start seeing this one just cheated on the husband. So I always have that belief that. Yeah. So most times in marriage, anything my wife does, I believe nothing.
So there's this spot where you know that whether we like it or not, besties, there's emotions involved.
Yeah.
We love each other. We love to be in each other's space. In fact, we are accountable to each other. We hold
It's a
each other to a
relationship that
higher
has been kept
calling.
going for
It's a
years.
relationship that has been ongoing for years. So it brings us to that part where of emotional cheating. We might not be physically having sex, but because every time there is a particular thing that hits me a type of way, and the first person I think of about calling is Chichi, or I think about calling is my own bestie, isn't that brewing a room for emotional cheating in your committed relationship?
That's
or
what I
marriage?
No,
said.
what is
Those are
cheating,
the-
first of all? Cheating is something that your wife doesn't know about, right?
Okay, yeah.
So if your wife knows about you are calling Chichi, it's not.
No,
it's
but
not
what
a cheating.
about are you people talking about?
About-
Not that you're
Yeah,
calling
No, no,
Chichi,
you,
but
for me, for example, whenever she calls, or I even call her sisters, she will be there. We'll be talking.
Okay.
Do you understand? There is not. You will know that there is nothing.
I think that Judge's case is
It's
a very
peculiar.
peculiar. Yes,
You
it's
know
a
that
very
there is
peculiar case because you don't
totally
hear this all the time. That's why I said it's 1 in 10 or 10 in
the
100.
other day, my sister flew into London for a visit. She asked me, where can she stay in London, in UK when she gets to UK? I said, don't worry. Call
Chichi.
that's Oge. Oge is Chichi's sister.
Okay.
Call Oge, go there and stay. She went there and stayed for 1 week and went back. So
Again, it's a very peculiar case.
so you understand? So
I believe that this is just the 1 out of the 10 cases.
Exactly.
That is correct.
I feel
Exactly.
more like 1 out of 100.
Yes,
though.
because I'm a strong believer of the fact that this doesn't ever work. At some point, it's just going to have a
South,
counter
goes
effect.
south, yes.
So, especially in marriages, in relationships, it is easy. While we're dating, there's the choice of either continuing or discontinuing whatever we have. So, if it goes south, I can easily walk away, or we break it off if you don't want to really break out of that third-party relationship. But in marriage, there's no jumping out of it.
Yeah.
You're in, you're in.
Once you're there are a lot. If I to get out of marriage, there's a lot of
To think
wahala.
about.
I think for the scenario you painted, the picture, the story,
story.
You told us about, I believe that the guy only wanted to draw her attention to
To the fact that
something
he's
he
getting-
wasn't comfortable
was
with.
getting
So it was more like a
disappointed,
payback thing. So he knew that she had the bestie the whole time. He didn't say anything about it. And then the moment she decided to go for a
It's
weekend
even an
getaway,
observation.
But
But
for
for
me,
me,
even at well, probably just like I said, is something respect is the ultimate. As a babe or as a guy, you shouldn't tell your just in marriage. In marriage, right? There should be that long group or a distance.
Okay.
You want to, even if you want to go to, if anything will make me go to see Chichi now, I'm going with my wife. Why?
Those are the boundaries we're
Because
talking
now
about.
she's not just. I don't know how.
That's how it should be,
She's
though.
just a. They call me their brother. The more that tell
1 in
anybody,
10.
this is my son. They see me as their only brother.
1
So
in
now,
10.
if I'm going there, I can go there with my. You understand?
wife, yeah.
She will always advise me one thing. Hey, G, make sure you invest more on your wife. As like, you understand? So it all depends on. But what I'm still trying
So
to say,
don't you
if it
people
is
wait,
if it
George.
is a sensual
Wait, George.
relationship.
Don't you people ever have an alone time?
Sorry?
Alone time
Me
without
and
your
Chichi.
wife, like
Alone
just two of
time
you
is-
just hang out.
No, we
Alone.
don't hang out alone now.
Right. And all those hangouts, anyway, I leave
all
that
those
to
hangouts.
another day. That's not for the camera.
No, but true. We hang out alone. Me and my wife, we do hang out alone. Just we.
1 in
You understand?
10.
Your wife doesn't
And
have a
maintain
bestie,
that
does
stand.
she?
Her best friend is a girl, and you know the
No,
truth.
now you
Her
know what
best-
I'm
I
asking.
don't know.
No, don't
That's
talk
the
about
one
the
I-
girl.
no, that's
She
the one
doesn't
I
have
know.
a guy best friend.
No.
Let's come back to this
And
conversation
the
when she has a
girlfriend-
guy
her
best friend.
girlfriend, her best friend now is like a best friend to me.
Let's come back to this conversation
So-
when she has a guy best friend and the guy best friend is probably Yoruba. Okay, so
That's going to make you feel uncomfortable.
no sliding Yoruba guys by me. Okay, so question of the day, another quick segment. Question of the day. The quick question is this. So there's a rhetoric that you should make your spouse your best friend.
Yeah.
Your spouse should be your best friend.
Sure.
But there are cases where your spouse or your partner is your best friend, but there's that best friend that
Next better as a best friend than your partner as a best friend.
right. So it brings us to the question of the day. Is it a requirement, an important requirement for your spouse to take the office of your number one best friend?
Yes.
Or is it, yeah, I can have my good friendship with my spouse, but I still have this best friend that just gets me. It's just that we can't get married.
Well, for me, I feel your spouse should be your number one best friend. Okay, so then if there has to be another best friend, please let the males have male best friends. and let the females have female best friends. Please, there should be no crossbreeding anyway. That thing is the only problem I have. That crossing.
Yeah, just like.
But you should also be
Just
afraid
like
of homosexuality.
Victor is
as well.
Victor.
But let's
Okay,
make
let's
that
come
brother
to the male friends, right? Victor is my best friend.
Yeah.
But you have a female best
You understand? Maybe the way we painted this female girlfriend
Your
thing.
Victor best friend doesn't have a female best friend.
So Victor is my best friend, and he's my friend. I hold him so close, right? I can do just the same thing. We can talk. We do just the same way. My friendship is with Victor. That's the same way it is with
Victor in a woman's
Chichi.
body.
I must compliment
Do you understand me? So
Like my best
it's all about. That's why I say the genuinity, because some people what we
Sincerity,
call
I love that so
best
much.
friends is they are not best friends. These are
We know
things that
the
have
truth.
sexual affiliation.
And
You understand?
And
So-
some form of attraction.
or someone probably fine girl, you chiked her, she no agree.
Then
You
she
come
now- you
friend
now
zone
your
now.
friend. That one is not.
You understand?
So,
That is still the
okay, wait.
It's a time bomb on the
So,
waiting.
so quick one. Can your ex be your bestie?
No.
You have history
No,
together.
she's your friend. See, let's understand. There are people that she's your friend.
She's your friend.
No, she's your ex. Is your friend now, but not your best, as in not someone you call every day.
Favor, what do you think? Okay,
Is your ex your enemy?
She's not my enemy.
If someone is not your friend, what's the person?
Don't be talking.
there are different categories.
It can be acquaintance.
Help yourself.
Yeah.
Don't be talking to any of your ex.
No. What I'm
that's
saying,
a
okay,
meeting right
you're not
there.
talking about talking.
When you say friend, we're not enemies, but don't keep in touch. Don't stay in touch.
Well, I wouldn't
Favor.
completely
For-
agree with Abdul.
Sorry,
Hey!
Favor,
Yeah,
go.
I
See
wouldn't
them, not them.
No, for me, I agree with you.
agree
That's
with
of
you.
sexual. Anybody you've had anything sexual.
Sexual.
You should.
In marriage,
Yeah.
you guys should sponge it because body no be firewood.
Yeah.
And old
Goat and yam thing,
That's
eh?
history.
Okay, Favor, please.
I won't completely agree with Abdul with Williams because where he said your spouse should be your number one best friend. Because you look at couples, some couples don't really connect on such a deep level.
How did he get into the marriage?
That is the thing. So I saw a picture some time ago of a pencil and a screw working together, and then a sharpener and the other part of the screw working together. So it was like saying, this is supposed to be my own person, and this is supposed to be my own person. But then these other couples are already married, and these other people are together. So how do you fit that together? They don't just connect on such a deep level. So that's where they say, if you have this best friend who you connect so well, why don't you just marry the person?
Right.
See, let me tell you. Let's tell us.
Hold on, Judge. Hold on. But quick thing though, I beg to differ. I think that your ex can be your bestie.
Hey!
Hold on. I actually think so. Why? Because one of my best friends is an ex. And we have such an amazing
How do
relationship.
you have so many best friends at the same time? That's what I can do.
Okafor's law might apply. But see, let me tell us something. In such relationship of marriage, it all depends if both of you were friends. But let me tell you one thing. It's not all about saying my wife is my friend. If truly your wife is your friend, as a guy, you are not meant to cheat on your wife. Because friends don't cheat
On their
friends.
That's gold. I need to put that on a placard. Stand on that
Do
man.
you understand me? Let's get it right.
Saying,
Friends don't cheat on their friends. See,
We'll come into it.
Oh, you really
sometimes you see it's very deep.
No, but
You
that
can't
is
be
such a
my
beautiful-
friend.
And then you cheat on your
I
friend.
think there's a dynamics when it comes to marriage, friendship, and
If I have a person who is single and we're that into each other, I mean, I probably get to like the person on an emotional level on the long run. And then why don't we just do this thing, right? And continue our friendship.
I'm still going back to George.
No, please,
friends
don't cheat on friends. I love that so much. It's beautiful.
It is sweet to say it. No, you see.
How do you
say your wife is your friend.
Who actually cheat on their wives and say
your best friend.
Okay, guys. Okay, I need to come in here as an umpire because this is getting so heated. But so we have to really round up because time is of the essence. So quick thing, let's just wrap up our thoughts. What's your thought finally, briefly?
My thought is
just briefly.
Everyone just be genuine to friendship, whatever you have with anyone. Only you knows how genuine it is. Yeah, just try and be genuine. That's it for me.
Thank you so much.
And
shout out to Chichi. I want to meet you.
I think I will agree. So if you have the male bestie or female bestie, whatever, on the flip side, who you feel along the line you got attracted to each other, you became attracted to each other, and you want to do this, just do it. But if not, you still have the option of becoming transparent with your spouse and telling them that this is what it is. But you still have to give the person the benefit of doubt if he's comfortable with it. If he's not comfortable with it, or if she's not comfortable with it, then I mean you might just have to save your marriage. So it depends on what options are at play.
Right.
So I've been a bit more controversial in all of these discussions, but I also believe I've also seen people that started off as very young people, maybe in their teenage years, they were classmates, and then they grew that relationship to the level where even in marriage they'll still communicate and they're still very good friends, both families and all of that. So if you have that kind of relationship, very fine. Just respect boundaries. Don't cross boundaries, because that's where the problem will start from, and you will not be able to fix it again. Even you will lose your bestie, lose your spouse, lose everything.
Yeah.
So if you have that kind of relationship, kudos to you. But if you don't have, please don't start one now. Just leave the matter.
All right, thank you guys so much. This has been so amazing, so full of information. I have learned, I have argued, and all of that. At the end of the day, I think that it's important that we make our spouses our best friends. But I mean, I still think your ex can be your best friend. Holy grail. All right, so quote of the day, we're just really going to end quickly. Quote of the day says, build a friendship before marrying someone. Marry your best friend. Okay, so that's about it for today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in to Say It As It Is show. Remember to comment. We really want to know what you think. What are your thoughts? Do you have an ex that is your best friend? Is your wife your best friend or whatever? We really want to know what you think. Thank you so much for tuning in. Comment, like, share, and remember, this is Staff TV, and I remain Natasha. Thank you. Bye for now.